Hello, beautiful people. Mic check, mic check. We are back again. This is the third live today. I think that is the max amount of lives that I have had in a day, and I do kind of feel like it was related to this case. But anyway, hello, beautiful people. Shout out to everybody who is watching. Hit the like button. Thank you so much. Shout out to all of the subscribers here on YouTube. Join them. They're genius people. Shout out to everybody who's in the chat. Make sure if you are watching, you switch your settings from top chat to live chat so you can catch the good conversation happening. Shout out to all of the members here on YouTube and on Patreon and all the supporters on Substack. And shout out to the best mod squad on the internet working hard today because boy, oh boy, the silly doo-doo heads are out in force today. Yeah, we've had some airlocks, some lifetime bans, even for some people who've been here for a while. Just all of a sudden decided to show your booty hole to everybody. Yeah, because you think that this decision is permission for you to do that. We don't want to see your booty hole. No, we sure don't. Hello, Q Smooth. How am I doing? I'm tired, but I'm good. I don't have any complaints. I would remind folks, I've said this in every live today, if you are getting your updates from somewhere else while you are watching this live, keep those updates to yourself, okay? I've got 3 tabs open right now, and they pop up with updates for me, so I will get to them at the very moment that I see them, and it really just causes the conversation to get disjointed in the chat. So I ask that you not get ahead of me and you just respect the process of the channel. And if you feel like I'm moving too slow, go somewhere else. If you're looking for the red pill nigga agenda, it's not here, but them niggas live right now. So you can go over there and hang out with them. Okay. Here, we're fair, balanced, and objective. And if you don't know this about this channel, you should go do your homework before popping off in the chat because, again, you'll catch the airlock immediately. Okay? All right. Shout out to Storm Cloud for her airlock rate today. Ciao. Hey, Biscuit Heads, the mods are competing to airlock you first. That's very true. They really are. We have a little chat goal going today for super chats. So, help the channel out. I just sent a couple $100 away for some transcripts for, what's his name? Audrey. Yeah. So I ain't got no money. I ain't got no money. It's bagels and smoothies today. If you slept in today or you haven't been online and you don't know what is going on, earlier this morning, Diddy was found guilty of 2 counts of, oh, Jesus Christ. 2 counts of transportation for the purposes of prostitution. He was found not guilty, 2 counts of trafficking, not guilty, and the RICO charge, not guilty. He is facing somewhere between 21 and 60 months in jail. In the second live we had today, we looked at the letter from the defense on their recommendations and requests for bail and their conditions. And we looked at the letter from the prosecution saying that he's not even eligible for bail under the Bail Reform Act. So we await the decision of the judge. And that's all we can do is wait. Carolyn Williams, thank you for the $10 super sticker. Beautiful. Appreciate you. Nickelodeon, thank you. Beautiful. Let's commiserate. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Appreciate you. Tiffany Shante, yes, round 3. Here we are again. Hello to everybody who's watching. We're all sitting here waiting. Okay. I'm just filling space here with my voice as we await an update to find out if Diddy is being granted bond until his sentencing. Serotonin, hurry up and wait. That's right. Yep, it's up to 20 years, but the federal sentencing guidelines are a equation. Some of it is discretionary, but it is an equation. They're federal guidelines of sentencing. They're guidelines, not the same as mandatory minimums, but nevertheless guidelines for sentencing. And the parties are very far apart in how they interpret and apply those guidelines in their arguments to the judge. So, for example, Diddy's lawyers say that per the federal sentencing guidelines, he's only looking at 27 months. The prosecution says, per the federal guidelines, based on our math, he is facing 51 to approximately 60 months in jail, and there may be additional enhancements. But they need more time, to suss that out because the sentencing for what he has been convicted of does not include mandatory minimums. He's not sentenced today. This is a bail hearing. So if he's getting out today, he's getting out until he is sentenced, which will be in 2 to 4 weeks. It hasn't been set yet. And in that time, the parties will come up with new submissions. This is just kind of what they're doing right now for bail, but it gave us insight into what both parties will be asking for in terms of sentencing. So the defense will have their, ultimate recommendation request for sentencing that will be submitted in writing later. The prosecution will have theirs. Pretrial services will also weigh in, as I would imagine that they have today, but that's not something that would be on the docket. But pretrial services has been involved every single time he has requested and been denied bail. So far, Diddy has requested bail 3 times. 2 of them were under a different judge when he was first arrested. The third one was under this judge. So I would imagine, that he has a lot to go back through during these hours that he said, okay, submit your letters. We're scheduling the hearing for a couple hours away. Yeah, I would imagine he needed to do some research. I would imagine they needed to give pretrial services some time because those are just folks at their job every day with their caseload, right? They're not just sitting around waiting for, well, what's decided on this? They've got other clients that they need to see, other work that they need to do. And now all of a sudden they need to potentially, likely, get something in writing to this judge today. So yeah, this is something that's been going on since about 7:15 this morning when the jury sent a note that they had a verdict. That verdict came back, God, that feels like so long ago. Immediately. They sent the note, everybody came in, they read the verdict, and then immediately started arguing. Diddy's lawyers immediately started you know, arguing that he should be released today, pending his sentencing hearing, which has not yet been scheduled. Jersey Girl asked, do they have to run them concurrent? We don't know. Okay? We don't know. Hillary Harris says, hi, all feeling some kind of way with how this turned out. Yeah, I think, a lot of people are, feeling some kind of way. Hi, Lolly Go Lightly. It's great to see you, beautiful. Yeah, the jury was released immediately following rendering their verdict. Bail has been denied. I'm going to repeat that for this person right here. Bail has been denied. Now, what the prosecution argued was that, number one, he's not eligible for bail under the Bail Reform Act, period. So as a matter of law, it's moot that he's asking because under the law, he wouldn't be eligible. They also addressed flight risk in their letter, which we looked at in the second live today. This is the third. And dangerousness. These are all of the things that they have consistently addressed whenever he has requested bail. So if you're just joining us, bail has been denied. Hit the like button. Share this live. Just making some updates. So we don't know yet what the reasons were that the judge cited, whether it was the Bail Reform Act and him not even being eligible for bail. And I was trying really hard to remember after the last live, but I had other things that I needed to do. I didn't have time to look it up. I was trying to remember because I know that they had brought this up before, whether or not he was even eligible for bail under the Bail Reform Act based on, at the time it was the charges, but now it is the convictions. And I just could not remember, and I'm not going to remember now, and I'm obviously not going to go and look for it. But yes, breaking news, if you're just joining us after a long day and 3 lives, Sean Diddy Combs has been denied bail. And yeah, so titties for everybody but him, I guess. Demetrius, thank you for the $10 contribution. Beautiful. Appreciate it. Wake Me, thank you for the $10 contribution. Thank you for the confirmation and update. Absa, you're welcome, beautiful. If you posted it, you posted it. I'm going to let it slide for you. But it is really annoying when people do that, because it's like, well, what the fuck is the point of me being here? But I'm going to let it slide for you, and because it's over, and we in the LBG. And I did say titties for everybody but Diddy. Yeah, it's not the fastest time we've gotten to an LBG, but we did get here pretty quickly. It was 16 and a half minutes by the time we got here. I'm just waiting to see if there is an update, and let me check Pacer as well and see if there's a minute order or anything like that. I'm sure that clerks shut off their computer and ran out, because it's the end of their day. But I will check nonetheless. No, there's no minute order or anything yet, but who knows? Maybe while we're here, it will pop up and we'll see, or one of these live posts. He didn't just get up and say bail is denied. He gave reasons. So I'm quite curious to know what it was ultimately that made the judge say no. And as I said before, the Bail Reform Act is very important, and whether or not you ever wind up needing to argue for bail, you want that there for yourself, and for society as a whole. Sorry. Sorry. I point you to our second live where I was looking at the defense's letter, and they were like, he's been a model inmate. He has not. Okay. He tampered with shit. We know he did. I've been on everything. The notebook. Okay. But they just went through and were like, just whitewashed everything. He's perfect. He's totally perfect and ready to go home. And the judge said that Sean Combs has demonstrated a disregard for the rule of law and a propensity of violence. The judge said he denied bail for Diddy when it wasn't mandatory before the trial, and sees no reason to reach the opposite conclusion now. So from what I hear in there is that he was eligible. The judge then quoted the defense's letter at different instances when Combs' lawyer acknowledged his violence towards his former girlfriends. At trial, the defense conceded defendant's violence in personal relationships, saying it happened in relation to Cassie Ventura and Jane, Subramanian said. Subramanian said there was also violence and illegal conduct after the searches on Combs' homes when he was aware he was under investigation. again, this goes to what I said in our previous live, is that the judge is not required, just because he was found not guilty of certain things, doesn't mean that the judge is required to wipe his memory of factual information. Monica Smith, thank you for the support, beautiful. Of factual information that the judge knows to be true. So the judge said there was also violence and illegal conduct after the searches on his homes when he was aware he was under investigation. At quote, this highlights a disregard for the rule of law and a propensity of violence, end quote. So if you want to read into that for funsies, since nobody has tea leaves. Whoa. It could give you an idea of sentencing and where the judge is at in his mind right now. The proposed sentencing date for Diddy is October. The proposed sentencing date, October 3rd, 10 a.m. Eastern. He's willing to consider moving up the sentencing date at the defense's request, as long as all of the required, steps have taken place. So that's the prosecution having plenty of time to put everything together, the defense having all of their time to put everything together, and pretrial services, who also weighs in on a recommended sentence, to have time to put all of their stuff together. There will be a bunch of submissions to the judge in writing, and then we will have a sentencing hearing, but it won't be in 2 to 4 weeks. It will be in, right now, October 3rd. It may be moved up, but wow. Hey, you guys are going to get us to that goal. I just love to see it when that happens. When the defense said he's been a model inmate, I just imagine the judge turning to the camera like they're on The Office. I think you were here earlier. You saw my reaction. I was like, okay, let's keep it in the realm of reality, because that's not what been done happened. Okay. Yeah, that was crazy. Raphael, hello, beautiful. Thank you for the $10 super sticker. Call me Vicky. Hey, beautiful. Thank you for all your hard work. Thank you for the $20 contribution. I appreciate you. Saloina crowd. Thank you for the $10 contribution. Saloina says, thank you for being a safe space today. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're very, very welcome. Michelle Johnston, $5 contribution. Thank you. You said he was violent. Why should he be free until sentencing? Right. Demi, thank you for the $5 contribution. Thank you. October? Guess the celebratory freak off will have to wait. Yep. Everybody else is gonna. You want to talk about throwing water on somebody's party? Oh yeah, this throws major water on everybody's party. Denied. Let me go ahead and update that. I'm gonna put a ridiculous amount of exclamation points on the ticker. Just because I know it's going to irritate some people. Like, damn, was that really necessary? Yes, it's necessary. It's totally necessary. If you're just joining us, hello, beautiful. Hit the like button. Diddy's been denied bail. Why? Because he completely disregards the law and has shown a propensity for violence. This judge previously denied him bail and sees no reason whatsoever to change his opinion now. Now, is it possible that Diddy could file a appeal for bail? He's done. Yes, absolutely. Let's expect him to do that. Okay, let's expect him to do that. No, they wrote that for their client, and because, why not? Why not? Gang, 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 gang. Skeely, I would love to see just those exclamation points wrap around at the beginning of the ticker. I wonder how many I'd have to put in for that to happen. I don't even know. But yeah, Diddy is not going home today or tomorrow. That's what's not happening. That's what's not happening. Micah Red, I am trying very hard not to judge the jury. Yeah, I mean, you can be seriously disappointed with them. You can be annoyed with them. I just, as I said earlier today at some point, and I think I said this yesterday as well. I totally just lost my train of thought. Something popped up and I'm sorry. I just lost my train of thought because apparently the BBC is like, well, a calm has descended over the crowd outside upon hearing the news that Diddy is not getting out. They went from wow to just quick, somebody spray some more baby oil. Nope, that's not what's happening. Anyway, sorry, I don't remember what I was saying before that. I just completely lost my train of thought when I saw that pop up. A calm has descended over the insane group of people outside. Yeah, I bet it has. The BBC is hilarious. Oh, they've been cracking me up all day. Oh, this is what we were talking about. Afro Butterfly. Hi, beautiful. Afro Butterfly says, I'm judging the jury fully, period. Yeah. I just don't care one way or another. And, the legal rhetoric that's happening right now on LawTube and on CNN, and this is a total loss for the government. No, it's not. They got a conviction, so it's not a total loss. So we're not going to say that. I'm just not into the, let's get into a frenzy and come up with a narrative of what this is. I said before, this is where I lost my train of thought. I think they had enough evidence to convict him objectively, especially after the jury asked the clarifying question, what is distribution? There was somebody, juror 25, who they were close to racketeering. And he said no. The very second they were sent back to deliberate, he said, I'm not doing it. But objectively, they proved racketeering. And we talked about this. We talked about jury nullification. We talked about jury contradiction. I shared with you all that, I was a part of a case where somebody had stolen and used a gun to shoot somebody. He was charged with second-degree assault with a deadly weapon, and then there was an enhancement charge separate for the gun. The victim was shot. The jury found him unanimously guilty of second-degree assault using a deadly weapon. The victim was shot. The weapon was a gun. They did not find him guilty on the enhanced charge. And if they had, he would have spent 15 to 25 in prison. They didn't. He spent less than 3. So I think based on the composition of the jury, and I'm sure some of them are going to speak, and I promise you, I'm never going to pay it any attention. I don't want to hear what any of them say. If you come on this channel, such and such a juror said, I don't care. I'm never, ever going to give them the time of day. I don't care. Quick update. So the defense just proposed waiving pre-sentencing investigation. The department is called pretrial services, but they weigh in on these kinds of things. So the defense said we can just waive that and expedite sentencing. The prosecution said no. Given the complexity of the trial and the disparity between the parties' positions on the sentencing guidelines range, which I talked about, and I'll talk about again in a second, the prosecution doesn't believe the court has enough information to sentence Diddy without pre-sentencing investigation, and said that the government will work with defense to move the process forward as quickly as possible, which means whenever the fuck they get around to it. They're all about to go on vacation, just so we're clear. The entire prosecution team is tapping out after this, okay? So again, from a live earlier today where we looked at what the defense and what the prosecution put together to argue for and against bail, both of them put in their math on the federal sentencing guidelines for what amount of time it is Diddy can be expected, what the range of time is that Diddy can be expected to be sentenced to. And they are very far away from each other. So, the government is not going to waive pre-sentencing investigation. That is a separate party, not attached to the defense or the prosecution, evaluating the situation, and more specifically evaluating Diddy and Diddy's conduct during the course of the investigation, the trial, his incarceration, everything, his drug use, his violence. It doesn't matter if he's been convicted of it or not. It doesn't matter. They take all of that into consideration when making a recommendation to the court. They do that with bail as well. And every single time pretrial services has weighed in on bail for Diddy, they've been like, no. There was one hearing where they didn't even have time to like put a report together. They just had to scuttle over to the courtroom and be in the court. And the judge was like, oh, okay, pretrial's here. Let's see what they have to say. And they stood up and they were like, absolutely not. You cannot release this man. Absolutely not. So a calm descends over the crowd. Oh, the BBC. Well, there's sentencing guidelines, so it's not like they can just get whatever they want. He is a first-time offender. That does play in his favor, but there are mitigating factors that I believe show that whatever the range is, right, whatever they settle on in terms of the range, he's going to serve the higher end of the range. And again, I would say, based on the judge saying you have shown nothing but a complete disregard for the law, that the judge is not inclined to go easy on him in sentencing just because he was found not guilty of 3 counts. And it's interesting that the defense's arguments came back to bite them. Their arguments during trial came back to bite them in trying to get their client released from jail just now. So here's another quick little breakdown. Judge denied bail to Sean Combs, saying the defense has not cleared the bar to warrant his detention be lifted. Citing previous court cases, he said he disagrees with Combs' attorneys that the crimes he's been convicted of, transportation for prostitution, do not trigger mandatory detention. Okay, so it sounds like he does agree. Then this is interesting because I've noticed this over the past 3 days. These are two of the automatic updates that I've been getting are from CNN and from the BBC, and they've contradicted each other regularly, which I find fascinating, just as an observation. But anyway, so I had previously said, oh, it sounds like he was entitled to bail under the Bail Reform Act. But now, reading the BBC's update, judge disagrees with Combs' attorneys that the crimes he's been convicted of do not trigger mandatory detention. That's a reference to the prosecution's argument that he's not even eligible for bail. Not even eligible. It's not even a discussion. Legally not eligible for bail. During the trial, the defense conceded violence in his personal relationships. So the judge plucked what his lawyers said on a regular basis. He beat this woman. He beat that woman. He's not charged with that. He did this. He did that. He's not charged with that. He did this over here. He did that. He's not charged with that. Like they were on that over and over and over and over, which worked with the jury. Admissions to the jury gives the perception of personal accountability. So it may have worked with the jury. It came back to bite them with the judge because the judge is like, well, you said he did it. Pointed to closing arguments. Agnifilo has been saying nothing but we own the domestic violence. We own this, that, and the other. So the judge quoted him on that and said the court saw the violence on display in the 2016 video from the Intercontinental Hotel where Combs beat Cassie Ventura and drags her by the hair. Once again, Cassie with the cape. Not the tape. Cape. Judge said, no, I've seen what you do. I've seen it with my own eyes. I've seen the video. I've seen the conduct of your client since after he knew he was under the investigation. I've seen the conduct of your client while he's been incarcerated. I've seen all that shit. He's not going anywhere. He's not eligible for bail. And dangerousness applies. When the judge said the words bail is denied, audible gasp erupted in the overflow room filled with Diddy's fans and supporters. Many looked stunned and disappointed. This is the BBC. It has been a day of celebrations for them outside the New York courthouse, where just earlier Combs was acquitted on 3 of his 5 charges. Yep. Poured water all over that shit. Judge was like, I don't give a fuck about your live streams outside the courthouse. Y'all want to be out there spraying each other with baby oil? You go right ahead and knock yourselves out. This motherfucker ain't going nowhere. You know what, Demetrius? I'm with you on this because shut up and sit down. Demetrius says, this might be petty of me, but I'm glad just so those people have less to celebrate. Yes, because sit down and be quiet. Sit down and be quiet. Now, if you know the man personally, it's completely understandable that you are relieved and grateful and having your own little happy dance that he's not facing mandatory minimums, okay? That lead to life in prison. But everybody else, you don't know this motherfucker. This case has no bearing on your life whatsoever. Again, Sebastian Maniscalco, no job. No job. You ain't got nothing better to do than stand outside a courthouse all day spraying people with baby oil. Sit down. sit down and
just pull yourself together.
This is not sentencing. This is bail. He's going back to jail. This is not sentencing. This is bail. So he's going back to jail. He's not going to prison. Yeah, he's going back to the MDC. Marshall Irons, do you know if he's being returned to the jail or is he being sent to an actual prison? Yeah. But the delineation between conviction but not sentenced is jail. So he's going back to jail. And he'll be there until potentially October if they can't figure out a way to get this done faster. But I'm telling you, government lawyers are leaving tomorrow. They're out of town. They're not available. And Jesus Christ. The judge just ripped. I know the defense is like, Jesus Christ. The judge said, sorry, I'm looking at another update. You full-throatedly, in your closing argument, told the jury that there was violence, and domestic violence is violence. And you said this is a case that did involve violence. And his lawyer said, well, there's only one instance of violence on the record since 2018, an altercation with Jane in 2024. The judge is like, this reminds me of when Diddy's lawyer said, well, I don't know if it was 1,000. Who said that? Motherfucker. The search warrant receipt where they have to count them. You full-throatedly, in your closing argument, told the jury there was violence and domestic violence is violence. And you said that this is a case that did involve violence. Well, once. Oh, God. Chaos. Judge said, if you don't get the whole fuck out of my face with that bullshit, we here at the end of the good business day. It is after 5 o'clock. People here, we got to pay for this. We got people here after court hours. Because I'm trying to expedite this process for your client. I expedited it to denied. I expedited it to denied. Denied for several reasons. He doesn't qualify. And look, you said your client engages in violence. Oh, I love it. Get the fuck out of here. I feel good. Get the fuck out my face. I'm sitting here making the shit up. That's what I'm doing. Just piss takes all over the place. Just making it up. What an ignorant, dumbass comment. Take your red pill nigga's ass with you. Diddy is in a room crying. He wants to speak to the judge. The crying part, okay, I made that up, but Diddy wants to speak to the judge. Michelle, thank you for the support. Beautiful. He wants to beg the judge. Defense attorney Mark Agnifilo just told the judge that Combs would like to speak with him. Mr. Combs wants to talk to you. Agnifilo said, telling the court that he'll see what Combs wants to say. So they're still in the courtroom right now. So Diddy has asked to address the court, and it's not going to make a difference. I promise, Your Honor, I'm not going to beat any women. I promise, Your Honor, that it's not going to make any difference. But he's desperate, which is understandable. He could taste it. He knew. They told him. He was probably watching coverage. He's been at the courthouse all day. He hasn't gone back to the jail all day. He's been in a holding cell. So he's probably had access to a lot of things that were fluffing up his chest feathers of everybody saying, all the legal analysts you will see today said, oh, he's getting out on bond. He's getting out on bond. He's getting out on bond. And, home today. And his lawyers probably told him, oh, yeah, we're going to make this happen for you. So he could taste it. And the judge was like, no. Yeah, they're still arguing, even though this is fascinating to me that they're still debating, even though the judge has made his decision. Prosecution says that there's no more deliberation or discussion is needed. This is the right decision to keep him in detention, calling him an extremely violent man with a dangerous temper. What is exceptional about him, the prosecution said, is his wealth, his violence, and his brazenness. He is an extremely violent man with an extraordinarily dangerous temper who has shown no remorse, facts, and no regret for his multiple victims. The defense attorney is appealing to the judge one more time, saying in part, listening to the prosecution makes me appreciate that we have juries. Alicia Humpage, he was probably picking a DJ for the fourth. Tough titty. Wow, a tough titty. Yeah, he can have a tough titty. He can have that. Yeah, he can have that. Marshall Irons, so close. So close. Yoink. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy. I can't think of anybody who deserved it more. Lolly go lightly. It's almost like Diddy doesn't respect the judge or the law. Judge confirms bail is denied and sets a hearing on the schedule for sentencing for next week. The judge again confirmed that Sean Diddy Combs' bail has been denied. He scheduled a remote hearing for Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern to address the sentencing schedule. The judge is off the bench and court is done. So the judge came out and said denied because blah, 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 blah. And then they mea culpa'd. Please, Your Honor, please. Said my client would like to address the court. Judge said no. No, nothing he says has any bearing on this because what he's been convicted of and his dangerousness say he's not eligible for bail. I don't give a fuck what he says to me today, right now. You just told this court 3 days ago this motherfucker did all this shit. Read him transcript excerpts of what he told the jury. Raphael, thank you for the $5 super sticker. We're going to get there. We're going to get to that goal. We got time. We can do it. Little Bitty, thank you for the $5 super sticker. I promise, Your Honor, or super chat. I promise, Your Honor, that I'm not going to beat any women. It's just insidious, but so is Diddy. Glad he's going to be stuck behind bars a bit longer. Yeah. Wake me. Judge said, I'm gonna head out. Okay, my day is done. Did my part. I'm done. I'm done. Like Severus Snape, robes flowing out the courtroom. K. Smith, hello, beautiful. Whoo! I was surprised that it was still going. I thought it was over until the update started popping up. I'm like, they're still talking after he said, no, you don't get bail? Wow. Wowzer. Nicole, thank you for the $5. Appreciate you. Appreciate you very much. Mize 42. Take that. Yeah. Pa pa pa. Pa pa pa. Yep. Tap tap. Gavel gavel. Tap tap tap. Tia Monique, Judge said, it's dinner time, dog. I gotta go. Okay? It's shift change. Everybody gotta go. We've been here all day. Bye. Oh, rest in peace. Hey, King Link. I'm so late, but we in here. We in here, beautiful. We in here. Terrific me in jail without bail. Look at you. You poet. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. That's rough. That's rough. Tia Monique. I can't remember if I saw this one already or not, but thank you. Thank you very much. No, it's not safer to have taken the stand because he would have opened himself up to questioning by the prosecution on all the fucking crimes he's committed. No, would not have been better for him to take the stand. If he would have taken the stand, he probably would have been convicted of more things like RICO. Alicia Humpage, if I'll take it from here was a person, he's been fair, but ain't fallen for Diddy's antics or charm. Yeah. Again, he doesn't have to wipe his memory of what he knows to be true. And he previously denied him bail. So if his determination is you don't qualify, anything Diddy, attempts to say, can I please address the court? No. Because as a matter of law, you don't qualify for bail. It doesn't matter what you say. And that's the court's determination. So again, will he appeal? Probably. He probably will appeal. Marshall Irons, this is hilarious. Does the judge drop the mic or does the bailiff do it for them? That's a good one. Dan Jr., can the government still go after the co-conspirators? Sorry if you answered this already. Sure, they could. Yeah. They're not gonna, but they could. Yes, you can. Yes, you can, Rico, one person. They signed several deals with people to not prosecute them in exchange for their testimony and other evidence. So, unless you're a lawyer or a judge, don't talk out of turn. This is exactly why the judge ordered the jury to not worry about whether or not anybody else was charged with a crime in connection to Diddy. That was part of his orders to them. It's irrelevant. And when the defense brought it up, he corrected them. Told the jury to disregard that. It doesn't have any bearing. Is there any merch I can buy? Mods, if you could post the link to the store. Did you buy the book? Did you already get the book? There's other stuff in there. But yeah. Mods, if you could rotate them links out. I appreciate. Oh, look at that. Already on it. Fateless already on it. Appreciate you. There's also the 1-year anniversary gift list. If you want to buy me lunch or buy me a month's worth of tea or buy the cats a snack, there's a list. And I appreciate your support. So I'm going to say this again. I've said it several times, but I'm going to say it again. James Hamilton, thank you for your comment. I've lost all faith in justice sentencing. He's more dangerous than R. Kelly and Epstein combined. Well, I wouldn't go that far. All things being equal, they're all shitty. As a Black man, I feel sorry for all women who are victims of domestic violence. It's so sad. Yeah, it is sad. But I've told this story several times, and it's just a lesson that I live by, period. And I think Cassie demonstrated this earlier today with her statement after the decision. Her statement was not full of, we're so disappointed, and oh my God, the trauma, and they disregarded the victims, and da-da-da-da-da. Her statement via her attorney was 10 toes down, this motherfucker's been convicted, period. And he's going to jail for it, period. And what that shows is a person who has not tied their personal healing process, their personal justice process to the criminal justice system. And the fact of the matter is, when you're an adult living in the real goddamn adult world and you don't try and just simplify things, and I'm not referring to you, James, I'm referring to the biscuit heads. When you don't just try and simplify things in the binary because it helps you come up with snappy little things to say or post in people's comments, you understand that in the real world, there is a difference between the things that happen and the things that can be proven in court. And it's up to survivors and the people around them that support them to recognize that difference. And the story that I tell is of a client that I had whose child, who was like somewhere between 5 and 7, was intimately abused by a family member. And the mother did everything she was supposed to do. This was somebody who provided like after preschool childcare while she was at work. But she, did a full extraction, cut off contact, took the child to the doctor. Doctor documented a bunch of things and concurred that there had been abuse, said the child needed to go to therapy, started that process, filed a police complaint. And then got a call from the prosecuting attorney's office, basically, vulnerable victims division, that said, we want you to come in so that we can interview you and potentially, talk to your son. We'll just see how it goes. So she called me and she was freaking out because she was like, what if they don't believe me? Like, this happened. What if they don't believe me? I said, oh, that's not why you're going. That's not what this meeting is about. It happened. You know it happened. The doctor knows it happened. The therapist knows it happened. Other people in your family know that this happened. So it happened. That's not what the meeting is for. What the meeting is for is to determine whether or not the state can gather enough evidence for an arrest and a conviction. So when you go into the meeting, you are going to frame it in that way. When there's introductions and you reach out and shake people's hands, thank you for contacting us to meet with you today. Appreciate it very much. I understand that the purpose of this meeting is to determine whether or not through the investigatory process, you all can gather enough evidence to arrest and charge my family member with what was done to my son. Stated in the affirmative, but separate the two out. It happened. It's your job to determine if you can prove it. If they can't determine through evidence that they can prove it, you are still responsible for going on with the healing process and validating what you know to be true that happened to you. period. It's very hard, but it is 1,000% possible. 1,000%. When the judge denied bail, Sean Diddy Combs' mouth fell to the floor. That's from the BBC. Also, Diddy's lawyers tried to float the "we should trust him." I think we should trust him. This is akin to, well, he was an altar boy, Your Honor. I think we should trust him. I think we should give it let's roll the dice and see what happens. Let's trust him. Per the BBC, it was a heated 45-minute hearing as Combs' attorney, Mark Agnifilo, made an impassioned argument for the judge to release his client, even though the judge said from the beginning that he would not be doing so. Agnifilo cited other cases where people had been convicted of the same crimes but were released on bail. He attempted to argue that Combs was a changed man and that he hadn't been violent since 2018. That's not true. Responding to the judge's argument that Combs... So first he said he hasn't been violent since 2018, but then he had to concede because he said it in his statements in the trial, admitting that he had been violent in 2024. So he got called out on that by the judge because the judge was reading transcript excerpts of what the defense said during trial about what Diddy did and didn't do. Quote, "This is a man who has lived up to his obligations. I just think we should trust him." End quote. That's exactly what it says. It says his mouth dropped and his eyes widened considerably. That's what it says. Cass says, and Diddy can't touch her, meaning Cassie. Man would be wise never to speak Cassie's name again. I'm pretty sure, aside from this criminal situation, I'm pretty sure that a part of her settlement with him is that he can't speak her name. I'm pretty sure that's a part of the settlement. He doesn't actually speak her name. I think we should just trust him. It's hilarious. It's really funny. That's exactly right. And how does that notebook stunt contribute to his trustworthiness? And that's what the judge is talking about with your client has showed a complete disregard for the law since he found out he was under investigation. None of that gets wiped. None of that becomes justifiable behavior. And a lot of the people in the gallery and in the overflow room and the people who've been acting like idiots outside, spraying people down with baby oil, that's the kind of shit that they're on. Oh, it's all wiped. Oh, everything he did was justified because he was innocent. Also got some comments after the last live of people who have since been banned from the channel trying to cuss me out over my comments about being found not guilty versus actual innocence. You literally don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I'm the expert here on this channel. This is a benevolent dictatorship. We don't debate facts. It is a fucking fact that there is a legal difference between actual innocence and somebody being found not guilty of a crime. Don't push me. I'm not in the mood. I'm also hungry. F dot, I can't really I can't really respond to this in any seriousness because I don't believe in demonizing people. Demonic behaviors. He displays the behavior of a man. Towards women. But when we start to use rhetoric like demonic, the monster, da 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 da, no, he's a man. And this is how a lot of men treat women. And if we want to respect the victims, they weren't attacked by some demon out of a story in the Bible. They were attacked by a man. So let's just use the plainest language possible to call it out for what it is and who did it. He wasn't taken over. He's not evil. He's not all of these inhumane things, these things outside of humanity. He is a man. And this is how a lot of men treat women or think women should be treated. Again, he's just so evil to women. He's abusive. Name the thing. Name it and be specific. When you take it out of specificity, you weaken the truth. He's abusive. He is a man who is abusive. He is a man who is violent to all kinds of people, regardless of gender. Yeah, for real. Thank you, Fateless. Doms, I am upset. He should be in there forever. No, he shouldn't. And that's just vindictive, vengeful behavior. You have no skin in the game on this. And what you're saying is, let's violate his constitutional rights and lock him up for life for something that he wasn't convicted of. I can't go there with you. I just can't go there with you because that's not the reality of the situation. And we need to remain proportional. And it's a problem in this nation that we don't. It's a problem in this nation that we don't remain proportional with our reactions and our responses. Micro, macro. This is a micro example of a macro problem in this nation that we just jump into hyperbolic bullshit. This is hilarious, and I'm just going to continue to be objective and unmoved by these kinds of comments. But I love you, beloved. Okay? It's just a teachable moment. No such thing as evil. It's just low vibrational energy. Beloved, I'm as woo-woo as the next. That is not scientifically factual. It's the flip side of the coin of he's evil. Right? He's evil. Just a low vibrational energy. Jesus Christ, give me a break. Give me a break. A man of free will who made choices to be violent and abusive towards women and men. That's what it is. That's what it is. Nobody has any special spiritual insight into Diddy. Nobody has any spiritual understanding or scientific understanding of his metabolism or anything else. It's a man who of free will made choices to be this way. It's as simple as that. It doesn't have to do with his birthstone. Doesn't have to do with what time he was born. It just has to do with the fact that this is who he is. That's it. Ron Atkins, will society learn from this? Well, what did you learn, beautiful? You're a part of society. These are rhetorical questions. Stormcloud, I don't like him because he's himself. Cheo with a great rhetorical question. As someone with a STEM degree, that saying always gets to me. What's vibrating? The sound waves, the atoms, the molecular bonds, the electrons. What is vibrating? This is a rhetorical question. We are not going to get into, a debate about your woo-woo beliefs or what it actually means when Mercury is in retrograde, because the majority of you don't understand that for shit. I'm just going to leave it there. You woman, you, not his birthstone. Well, beloved, I mean, what do you want me to say? What do you want me to say? There is no profoundness to apply to this situation. There's no special, deeper insight to apply to this situation. He, a man with extreme wealth, power, influence. This is what he has opted to do with his external power throughout his entire life, not just his career. He was doing this shit in college. So no crystals, no chakras, no chi, just his choices. Thank you, Tia Monique. Thank you for your comment. It's a very long history of violence. You guys go ahead and airlock forever. Because that's just a bold-faced lie. I'm so sick of that sorry-ass, lazy lie. You don't understand the law. Components to the racketeering charges. I'm sick of it. Go be stupid somewhere else. Jams ask, any predictions on possible prison time, consecutive or concurrent sentences, the full 10? What's the full 20? I haven't read the sentencing guidelines, child. I haven't either. I think that, well, first of all, they have to come to both sides are interpreting the sentencing guidelines differently. Okay. So they're very far apart from each other on where they are. So first they have to come to that agreement I believe the government will be more successful towards their interpretation than the defense will be towards theirs. Pre-sentencing services will also weigh in with their own evaluation and recommendation. I think based on what the judge said about not giving this motherfucker bail because he has shown such a disregard for the law, that whatever the range is, he's going to be sentenced to the heavier side of it. That's my for funsies prediction, that he will be sentenced to the heavier side of it. Because I'm a little stunned at, bail being denied or being granted. It was a 50-50, coming in. And I told people earlier today, brace yourselves for the possibility that he could get out. But I hadn't thought about at that point what the prosecution put in their letter to the judge about he doesn't even qualify under the Bail Reform Act. Which, the judge seems to have accepted that argument. So, but nevertheless, it surprises me that the judge came onto the bench and said, I've read everything, I've looked at everything, bail is denied. And then for 45 minutes, just at the defense every time they came at him. After the judge said bail is denied, he sat on the bench and just cracked the bat at everything they tried to lob at him. And he hit it over the fence every time. He was very firm as a judge, very firm. The fact that he went and got transcripts of what Diddy's lawyer said during the trial and then brought that up and said, you admitted your client did all this shit. I don't care if it was once, twice, or 15 times. You admitted it. He did it. I've seen it with my own eyes. No bail. That's carrying into sentencing. That attitude is carrying into sentencing from the judge. That's my guess. I don't care what they said, Cass. We'll find out when we find out. Okay. That's just all the debate going back and forth all day. It's going to be this, it's going to be that, it's going to be this. I'm not interested in any of those media narratives at all. The majority of these motherfuckers have been screaming all day that Diddy is going to get out. And this was a complete loss for the prosecution. And he's going to walk free in minutes. And they were all wrong. So I'll just wait. I don't have there's no point or purpose in me trying to give a prediction or say it's this or it's that. So we'll just see. Kaylee asks, hello, beautiful. Well, did he have to be labeled as a sex offender? No. No. Child, I've basically been here since 7 o'clock this morning. I ain't had nothing but smoothies, no protein. It's not the time. Well, I guess there is a bunch of protein in there, but it's just not the day. It's just not the day. I really just don't care about people popping up with their bullshit. Marshall Irons, is October sentencing more of a reflection on how busy the docket is, or is there a bit of we're in no hurry here? There's a bunch of shit that technically needs to happen before he can be sentenced. So next week they will have a next week they will have a conference hearing with the judge to hammer out what the schedule is going to be for sentencing. So I think the way that this goes is that the first thing that they're going to try and do is see if they can agree. They're not going to agree. The prosecution is going to submit in writing what they want for sentencing and why. The defense is going to have to respond to that. Those things are scheduled. So and we've seen this always. One party files something, the other party has a certain amount of days for their response. The original party that filed something then gets an opportunity to rebut the response. That also has a set amount of days. Pre-sentencing services, which has a whole caseload for the Southern District of New York, they have to go through a bunch of shit, right? So the judge is just saying, it's not going to take longer than this. I'm going to put it way out here. And the judge said, if everything can be worked out and we can move the date up, then we can do that. The defense tried to say, we don't need pre-services to evaluate and get a report from them. And the prosecution said, yes, we do. And the judge is not going to waive that. He wants to hear from that body on what they think. So it's a lot of scheduling. It's a lot of, you have a set amount of time to do this, you have a set amount of time to do this, et cetera, et cetera. And the prosecution made it clear in their letter regarding bail that they have a lot of research that they need to do with regards to the sentencing guidelines and the enhancements that they would ask the court apply to this case. So I hope that answers your question. You're welcome, beautiful. Is it Mika Red or is it Micah Red? Tell me one or two. Mika Red, Micah Red. Thank you for the $10 contribution. Kim Tillman, thank you for the $10 contribution. Paying the snack tax. Thanks for making sense of this stuff. You're welcome. Lily Eternal. Reflecting back, would you say the defense had a weak strategy? No. No, they worked with exactly what they had. I think they did everything that they possibly could to get a not guilty across the board for their client. They didn't have any witnesses worth their merit to offer on their own. The only thing that they could do was attack the evidence presented by the prosecution. And I think for the composition of this jury, they were very successful in doing that. Yeah, expressing outrage over bail denial based on your shitty assumptions will get you airlocked. Don't nobody here care. It's irrelevant. Take your ignorant ass ego somewhere else. We're dealing with the facts of the confines of the law and how this has factually been laid out today. "1988 Jeffy, hello, beautiful. It seems crude, but it worked on the jury, and that is the job." Absolutely. That's absolutely right. Number 1, Mika Red. Thank you. I don't even know how to pronounce this one. Mr. D66M. That's what I'm just gonna go with for that. Thanks, Absa. Stay ready and vigilant, y'all. Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings to you too, beautiful. Yeah, they could only reframe some pretty damning evidence, and hell, it worked where it really mattered. I mean, there's clearly we're seeing an instance of jury nullification and jury contradiction in this case, because I've said this before and I'm saying it again, that clarifying question that they asked about distribution, he should have been convicted of RICO. And somebody decided they weren't going to do it. For whatever reason they decided they weren't going to do it, they decided they weren't going to do it. So that's it. Is this a rhetorical question? If I answer this question, are you going to come with some snappy response, or do you really not know? If you really don't know, I will give you a full rundown. You personally right now, Zach Isaacson. But if it's a rhetorical question, you're going to come with some snappy nonsense, then I'm going to ignore it and you can go do your research on your own. Okay. He was found guilty of, thank you for the clarification. It's been a day, okay, of nonsense. He was found guilty of 2 counts of transporting individuals for the purposes of prostitution. Each count carries a maximum of 10 years. He was found not guilty of RICO and not guilty of 2 counts of trafficking. There is huge discrepancy in what at this stage. Okay, we'll learn more over time, but today, right now, there is huge discrepancy in the media. Okay, in the media with legal experts, in the prosecution and in the defense, huge discrepancy over what do the federal sentencing guidelines say for how much time what the range of time is that the judge is to consider for sentencing. Just huge discrepancy right now, so we don't know. What we do know is this motherfucker was unceremoniously denied bail by the judge and tried to beg in court, tried to address the judge directly, and the judge said, no, you're not eligible for bail. Anything you say doesn't matter here. But the judge came out, denied bail, and then for 45 minutes beat back the defense's "we should trust him" arguments of let him out. And then once the hearing was nearing its end, Diddy leaned over to his lawyers and said, I want to address the court. And the court said no. You're welcome. And there's this too, TW, Diddy to the judge. You're doing a great job, judge. Thank you. Denied. Thank you. Yes, I do believe I've been fair. Bail denied. Oh gosh. Yeah, just facts. I just gotta check, save myself, protect myself, you know. I'm not interested in hearing anything they have to say. I'll be perfectly honest with you. So again, I'll be saying this in the future, but I'm declaring it now. Okay, because I would be shocked if no juror does an interview or posts a statement or something. I don't care. I'm not going to respond to it. I'm not going to watch it. I'm not going to do any of those things. And if you bring it to me, I might get a little testy because I don't want to know. I don't care. We're not going to discuss it as a topic here. So just know that. Again, I'll be repeating this in the future. I don't care. We should trust him is crazy. I think we should just trust him. That is incredible. That was truly an incredible moment. I just think we should trust him. I'm sorry, this one has been a little bit updated a little bit. Defense lawyer Mark Agnifilo also argued that Combs had not gotten into any fights in jail and was on his best behavior despite being in a difficult part of the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. We know he has not been on his best behavior. He said Combs attended a batterers program for people who perpetrate domestic violence even before he was arrested to try and reform his conduct. That's new information. Agnifilo acknowledged that he did not see a glimmer of light in the judge's eyes when it came to the issue of bail. He said, I didn't see an ounce of hope for bail. Did not see a glimmer of light in the judge's eyes when it came to the issue of bail. I just think we should trust him. It's crazy. Well, you know, Your Honor, he was an altar boy. Oh, Jesus, take the wheel. Jesus, take the whole wheel. I think we might have gotten to the super chat goal. I can't remember and I can't see it. But thank you, everybody who has contributed in this live and throughout the day. I appreciate you. And then they called her a money-grubbing liar all throughout court, too. All throughout the trial. Money-grubbing liar. Oh, thank you. We're 5 super chats away. We're already in titty time, baby. LBG time started a long time ago, but if it'll help us reach the super chat, I mean, I'll hit it again. Sure. Why not? Why not? Double titties for everybody but who? Diddy. LBG times 2 because I love you. Because I love you. Shay. Double titties, is that like 4 titties? Like some Total Recall-ish? I mean, sure. Why not? Sure. Whatever fantasy floats your boat in your head, whether it's twins or a rack of 4, I'm not going to judge you, okay? I'm not going to judge you. Jams, is that couch comfortable? Why you got to get all up in my business, okay? Why you got to get all up in my business about this couch? Why do you have to get to the heart of the controversy of the couch? Immediately. Yes, it's comfortable. It is comfortable. It is. It's soft. It's nice. It's pretty. Comfort. What the fuck? Comfort. Look at it. It's gorgeous. Oh God, I almost fell. Look at it. Look at that. You think I have like one of those fake backgrounds? That's real. All of that back there. That's all real back there. That's really me. Is that Princey's couch? It's only Princey's couch when I want to get on it. Princey has a chair down here. You can't see it, but it's literally right here next to my desk. It sits next to the back door so he can see the cats when they come and get their meals. So he's got a chair here. Um, but yes, when I'm down here, he's like, oh, okay. And then there, when it gets really hot, that couch lays down. So I'll sleep down here because the temperature difference between this space and my bedroom can be anywhere from 20 to 40 degrees with no fan or air, just naturally. When I sleep down here, he gets a little attitude. It's hilarious. He gets a little attitude. It's been hilarious. Oscar's doing great. Oscar's doing great. He's such a bougie ass cat. Mods, if you could send the 1 year gift list around again, because I'm gonna have to blend his dry food. I'm like, you literally out here eating rats and shit, and I try and give you a little bit of a healthier dry food, and he's like, I could not be bothered with this. I could not be bothered with this. So yeah, I've had to add a couple bags of Meow Mix to the mix, just kind of sneak in, the healthy kibble. But Oscar's doing fantastic. He's so adorable. I opened the door this morning at 5:30, and he was sleepily already making his way here. There's a little bush right by the front door that he likes to just chill under and watch the birds on the bird feeder. So I imagine that he was just kind of sitting under there and, had just woken up, enjoying his morning, and then was like, yeah, here I come. Let me get my breakfast. So funny. This is it. This is it. Exactly. Licks paws as he rejects the dryness. I was like, oh my God. And I still give them wet food, but wet food is like, once or twice a day. There's kibble in the bowls in the front and the back 24 hours a day because there are multiple cats that come for meals. So it's way too expensive to just keep fucking the wet food out there. For those of you who have been, gifting the cats their luxury items, these motherfuckers got pallets and shit. It's rude. So yeah, even Princey, which he's had this dry food before. And it used to be his favorite, but then he got a taste of the alley cat's Meow Mix, and he was like, ooh, salt. Ooh, salt. I like salt. So he just will get really pathetic when there's nothing but kibble left in his bowl. He just sits there with the most pathetic expression on his face. He'll lay down dramatically like he's collapsed. Meow, look at me. Like, is she falling for it? It's so transparent. You can see the wheels turning in his head. Let me see if I can trick her out real quick. And I'll just walk by and be like, no. And then he'll get up and start eating his dry foods. Like, well, I tried. Well, I tried. I know, right? Fateless. I love the evolution of Oscar. When I first joined, you were like, no, Oscar is a stray, not a pet. Fast forward a few months and he has standards. Okay. He has standards. He has his favorites and things that he doesn't like. And I put things on the cat list and on the anniversary gift list based on, yes, the palettes of the indoor prints and then the outdoor subjects. So yeah, the Oscar arc is really undefeated. Really, really. I love that damn cat. I love that damn cat. Every once in a while, he'll disappear for a good 24 to 36 hours, sometimes 48 hours. And I'm always just like, where the fuck are you? I have to resist walking around the neighborhood and yelling his name. I just have to resist. And he's good. And then there's Devil and Demon. And they also come for, they also eat the cat kibble. I'm not getting them dog food because then, you might as well be saying, yeah, you can come in the house. We don't invite the devil in. So I'm not ever getting them dog food, but I never get upset when they eat the cat kibble because I know they're not getting fed regularly by their horrible fucking technical legal owners. So Lolo is still belly slinking on the regular. Yes, he's so funny. Lolo is so funny because for a cat that doesn't want anything to do with you and really would prefer you not know when he's back there, he's very vocal. He lets out the cutest little baby meows and he's a big old chunker, as he's making his way. Before he's even gotten back there, you can hear him meow, 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 meow. Just the babiest little meows, like, oh, don't hurt me. I'm just a little baby bird. I'm just so hungry. And he will clear a bowl in one sitting. And it's not a little bowl. He will clear a bowl in one sitting. He literally looks like Sylvester the cat. Literally looks like Sylvester the cat. It's so funny. Kim Tillman. Sometimes on my own time, I'll ponder about Devil and Demon. Child, me too. Me too. I found another thing that Devil doesn't like. So I had to go to a store nearby and I was like, let me just, they got the new little glider scooters. I was like, let me just hop a glider, go over there right quick. And I had my headphones on. I can't really hear very much. So I pass Devil's house. I faintly hear barking, but I go to the store on the glider. It literally takes 2 minutes to get there. Come back, 3 minutes later. And I come up the hill and I'm not even at Devil's house or where I would turn to go to the back of where I live. I come up the hill and it's in between songs. So then I hear, and he comes flying off the property. I'm moving. I'm going a solid 18 miles an hour. Okay. I'm moving on this glider and he comes, bat out of hell like a demon, like a devil demon. And he's coming at me. I was like, oh shit, you don't like the glider? He followed me, I'm going to say for a good 50, 100 feet. And then decided this is as far as I go and wouldn't come any further. But he stopped at an invisible line and was just yapping at me. It's 5:30 in the morning, loud and as violently as he could. And I was like, okay, the gliders are the enemy. Noted. Cheo, we'll talk about this on another day. There are a couple things that I want to talk about, but it's just not, I just can't transition from that to a bunch of other stuff. But yeah, we'll talk about it. Yeah, I heard him earlier. He was going off about something. And I'm always like, there's two reactions from Devil: quick, loud, aggressive, or loud, aggressive over hours. Like if you really trigger and set this dog off, he'll be cussing out anything that moves for hours. Leaves, people, other dogs, cars, apparently gliders, doesn't give a shit. But apparently that was just a momentary thing, because he got his and then it was quiet. But there have been plenty of days where it goes on and on and on, and there have been times where I've gone outside to see who fucking pissed off this dog. And there have been a couple occasions, because you get new people that move into the neighborhood, where I will go out front, and inevitably it is a Wahite woman. You know the kind. They jump into the animal cages at the zoo. Yeah, those kind. Keep chimpanzees at home as pets. Those kind. They're out there trying to negotiate with Devil. Does anybody know that is so cute? It's too adorable. Meanwhile, Devil is like, I will fucking kill you. And then we all got to listen to him for hours after that. I've told a couple Wahite women, if you don't get away from that dog right now. Is it your dog? Get away from that dog. Jesus. Dude, I don't even know. I don't know, because we got e-bikes. We got e-scooters. I don't know that he's ever reacted to them, but he came out on that glider like I kicked him. Really. So, I don't know. Devil will eat you from your ankles down. That's exactly right. Yeah, that dog's real serious about it. He's real serious about it. Poor baby. Poor baby. Well, y'all, we've spent a lot of time together. And I am not complaining at all. It has been a day. It has been a day and a long day. And I know that there are people out there, getting their content together and doing their live streams and all of that. And I'm going to say what I always say to y'all, which is maintain your motherfucking peace. Okay. Don't give these biscuit heads the time of day on this topic. You have too much factual information. And when they show you that they disregard factual information, you are under no obligation to debate it with them. It doesn't make you more right. It doesn't make you smarter. It's not your obligation to convince people. Just move on. Okay? Move on. I'm going to try. Shout out to the replay gang. And a reminder that this Friday is our 1-year anniversary for live up on this piece. 3-hour live featuring all of you. And in hour 2, we will be doing a book talk about bloodlines and battle rhymes. So pull your notes together. It's not a long book. It's not complicated. You can read it again, before then. I'm super excited to hear y'all's thoughts and ideas, especially as I finish this second book. And again, thank you for your support, supporting the document fund and all of that. I sent all your money away today for a couple transcripts. Yeah. Maintain your peace. Make sure you have a good dinner or dessert. You deserve to treat yourself. And I might see you tomorrow, depending on what's going on and if I have time. But I will definitely see you on Friday. I appreciate you all. Have a good night. Love you. Bye.